Guys, welcome to Players United, welcome to another video. And Ronald Koeman has been announced to be the new Barcelona coach for the 2020-2021 season. The legend of the dream team, of Johan Cruyff's dream team, that actually some people have been asking me to talk about the dream team. I didn't live that era, but I know it by the history. I've studied it, I know it. But I don't feel like right now is the moment to be talking about the dream team, but surely in the future that will be something that I would like to talk about. But like I was saying, Koeman gets appointed as a new head coach for Barcelona. And also, earlier news today, Abidal has been sacked by Barcelona. And I say has been sacked because technically he resigned. But they do that so it all looks clean and stuff like that. But no, Abidal didn't resign. He's clearly been sacked after Barcelona said yesterday, after sacking Setien, that that they will be leading the new project with a new manager, with their current sporting director and stuff like that. But hey, this is what Barcelona does. It's a complete disaster. It looks okay for now. What I've seen in reports, what I think happened with the negotiations for Koeman. My thoughts on it is that Koeman only accepted because his demands were met. Like, he's going to have control over the transfers, over the training sessions. Obviously, he didn't want Abidal there. He wanted to, bring his own people to do his own scouting and stuff like that. And we can expect big changes. The medical staff, the fitness staff, like everything, I think is going to be changing at Barcelona. Am I saying that necessarily things are going to be massively better? Not particularly, but at least one thing is going to be done that I wanted, which is let's believe in the coach. Let's, if you're going to bring in a coach, put your trust in the coach and let him do his work. That's been a condition. I'm expecting that to be fulfilled, hopefully. And we'll see. Bartomeu earlier on the day also gave an interview to Barça TV for... he was asked questions about the future of the club and stuff like that, and the new coach, and he basically said that Messi had the full support of Koeman for next season. So we'll see what's gonna happen. We'll surely talk more about it over the next few days. I don't think this is going to be a tactical setup about Koeman. If you guys want me to do that, I can do it for you. But if you look back at his teams, his coach, Feyenoord, Everton, Southampton, the Dutch national team, Valencia. Overall, he's had a decent career as a manager. I think that his best jobs were Southampton and Valencia, where he did some interesting things. At Everton, he was fine. And the Dutch national team, alright, he's had to do a reconstruction after, Dutch team lost Robben, Van Persie, Schneider, so he's had to kind of reconstruct. And what are my thoughts about Koeman? That's, I think, what you guys want to hear. My thoughts about Koeman is that I don't think that it is very healthy for Barcelona right now, like for the Barcelona fans to think that because the idea is that they're bringing in Koeman because he's a former dream team player. He was coach under Cruyff. He's Dutch. He's with the Dutch national team. It looks very Barcelona-ish from the outside. But the reality is, for me, is that Koeman has never been like a necessarily good Cruyffist manager, in my opinion. Like, I would say Setien has proved with his teams that he's much more of a Cruyffist manager than Koeman is, just by the play style. Because at Southampton, Everton, Valencia, possession wasn't the main priority for Koeman. Being the attacking team wasn't the main priority for Koeman. Not that his teams didn't attack or weren't good at attacking, but it wasn't his main focus. When he needed to sit back, he seated back and countered. So, I don't know if I know what they're selling us is not what we're gonna get, unless all of a sudden Koeman becomes the greatest Cruyffist manager, which could be. I'm hoping that it could be. I'm hoping that this all works and Koeman has my full support, because now that he's the Barcelona manager, he has my full support from now on, and we'll see. I hope that the most important thing that Koeman, I think, can do is to clean up the squad a bit. If Koeman is only going to last a year or maybe 1 or 2 years, I hope that the most important thing that he can do right now, I think, is clean up the squad. Sell the deadwood, get rid of the deadwood that we don't need. Bring in more youth, like give more minutes to like Enrique Puig, Ansu Fati, the young players that need confidence, that need a boost in minutes for next season, so that they can establish themselves as fighting for a starting spot come the 2021-2022 season. I think that will be the most important thing for sure, and we'll see what's gonna happen. There is a bunch of things to discuss in the future, but overall, I think that Koeman, as a figure in football that he is, would have more support from the squad. I think that the likes of Messi, the likes of Suarez, if he stays, whoever stays, the core group of players are going to, have more respect for Koeman, I believe. I would hope so. I also hope that the players have learned that they need to be humble and go back to train how they used to. Otherwise, the results are going to be the same as year on year has been happening. But we'll see. Also, Koeman was one of the easiest options to get because he did have a clause with the Dutch national team that if Barcelona came calling, he had an exit clause from the Dutch national team. It's a bit odd. I know that the Barcelona job is very appealing. I know that it's one of the most appealing jobs, especially for a former Barcelona player and Barcelona legend. But, with the Euros coming up, I know that the Dutch national team for me wasn't a big favorite to win the Euros. I'm just saying it because the attacks right now that I've seen from the Dutch national team hasn't been particularly great. Like, they have some really good players like De Ligt, like Van de Beek, De Jong, Van Dijk, Depay. I know that they have some really good players, but overall that team didn't seem to gel that much. And that for me, I want to take example of the Dutch national team in terms of what I expect from Koeman. Because yes, he's playing with a 4-3-3, with a team that, looks like it should be a pretty decent possession-based side that can attack. Like, he has good pacey wingers, he has kind of a false nine striker with Memphis Depay, De Ligt and Van Dijk, one of the best partnerships in international football, a midfield of Frenkie de Jong, Van de Beek, and Martin de Roon, who is very solid. Like, that is very solid. Gini Wijnaldum. And, they have very, very good players. But that's the thing. They have really good players that can keep the ball. And that team doesn't play necessarily spectacularly. And that is something that we'll see. Now he's going to have the likes of Pjanic coming in, Trincao. We're going to see Dembele after a long time. Like, we're going to see a bunch of interesting things. I'll be doing what I think is going to be the restructuring of the side. There's going to be a few rumors going about of players leaving, of players exiting. We'll see, because I've heard the Suarez rumors, the Messi rumors. There's been apparently someone coming in for Arturo Vidal and Rakitic as well. But you have to realize that those players are on high wages. It's not easy to pay those wages. And, putting a transfer fee on top of that, I just see it very difficult. I don't think there's going to be a big restructuring in terms of players out. There might be 1 or 2 big names at the most. But we'll see what's going to happen. It's going to be interesting to see what's going to be happening within the next few weeks. The transfer window closes, I believe, mid-October, if I'm not mistaken, or earlier days in October. So we have over a month and a half to get our transfer window completely sorted out. It's not an ideal situation. Quique Setien was given only 6 months. I've seen the criticism that Setien received. It's not, for me, the ideal thing. We as fans are to blame to a point of what's happening. Actually, not to a point. We are probably the main reason of what happened to Barcelona right now, because don't forget that the associates, the partners, are Barcelona fans. Like, what the Barcelona fans think has a direct influence on what we see on the pitch. And when we make this criticism, like the one that we did against Setien, that people are saying Valverde better than Setien because Valverde left us top of the table while Setien, lost the league. Well, Valverde did 40 points, Setien did 42 points with an arguably harder second leg of fixtures. Setien came in mid-January, couldn't do transfer windows, they took players away from him. There was the whole Arthur situation right within the last couple games in the league. he couldn't use Suarez for much of the earlier part of his reign at Barcelona. He is not been able to use Dembele at all. Griezmann, a player that he found in January, he's not been able to fit him in, especially with Valverde. Valverde wasn't able to fit him in either. But for me, Setien, I think that if we have Riqui Puig and Ansu Fati being successful at Barcelona, as Barcelona fans, I want to say that we should appreciate Setien later on, because if those players succeed, it would have been thanks for Setien for giving them a chance, for actually letting them prove themselves, because that's something that Valverde never did. Riqui Puig was non-existent, like straight out. Riqui Puig was non-existent, and Ansu Fati, as soon as the other players got recovered, Ansu Fati started disappearing from the lineups. So personally, I would like to say thank you to Quique Setien for trying to do what he could. It wasn't an easy situation, and whoever thinks that we lost 8-2 because of Quique Setien, I'm telling you, like, if he was training with his Betis, if we played with his Betis team, we don't lose 8-2. We might lose, we probably lose, but we don't lose 8-2. It's because those players, mentally they're destroyed, they are not focused, they are, they're not training at the level that they need to. Like, physically, mentally, psychologically, it's not there for them. Things need to change. And I hope that this past loss finally drills their head with a sense that things need to change, that their mentality needs to change. Suarez can be playing 90 minutes all the games every day. Piqué needs to go to the bench from time to time. Alba needs to be benched if he's not at 100% fitness-wise. And Busquets more the same. Rakitic needs to go. Like, Messi can't play every single game because it's just not necessary and not healthy for Barcelona to do so. But with that said and done, guys, leave me your opinions about what's happened with Setien, with Abidal, with Koeman. Leave me all your opinions in the comment section below. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you next one. Blaugranas.